always paired with black girls, and the black and the white girls are always with white boys. And over half of our marriages here are mixed race, so that's not the norm for our young people. And when they see the actors all bundled up in heavy sweaters and in schools that don't look like ours, they say, you know, they don't look like us, they don't talk like us. How does this relate to us? So one of the things that we have been doing over the last few years is adapting evidence-based programs, programs that have been demonstrated to work, to change behavior, and adapt them so that they're more culturally relevant for Hawaii. The Hard Way is our most recent production. It's an HIV prevention video. And we worked with an organization called Hawaii Student Television to make it, because we believe strongly in positive youth development, and we wanted young people to have significant roles in the production, not just as actors, but as part of the camera crew and the sound crew and the editing crew. And I think they have done an absolutely wonderful job of creating a video that educates young people about the risks of HIV, and gives them hope for how they can prevent it when and if they become sexually active.
Wow, that's a really good thing that you guys are doing for young people here in Hawaii. And like you said, you know, I've only been here for about 2-3 years, and I do see those statistics. There's a lot more of a mixed race relationships going on here. So it's a good thing that you guys are carrying out this campaign. Now you mentioned working with a bunch of young people behind the scenes, and actually there's a funny story about one of your camera person, if you care to
Right. We were filming this video back in September through a couple of weekends, and one of our camera operators was about to celebrate his 13th birthday. So he had filmed during the first weekend, and the next Saturday was his birthday, and his mother said to him, "You can do anything you want to on your birthday. You don't have to go back and finish the video if you don't want to." And he said, "Mom!" So he showed up on the set on his birthday, and we even gave him an opportunity to be an extra in one of the scenes if he wanted to get out from behind the camera for a while. And he said, "No way. No way. I'm staying on this side of the camera."
So there's probably a job in there for him, right? Yeah.
Right.
You know, the future, you know, making and whatnot. Do you work with these kids on an often basis, or is it this time only?
Well, it's not something we do on a daily basis. Putting together a video like this takes a lot of planning and work. Totally aside from finding the money to make the production possible, it was really critical to us to look at what the key health messages were in the video we were trying to replace, and ensure that our video would have the same kinds of impact on young people. This is the second HIV video that we've produced. In the first one, for example, we recognized that very few young people in Hawaii use IV drugs. That's actually one of our real strengths here, I think. But you can get HIV just as easily from a dirty tattooing needle that's been shared with somebody else as you can from a drug needle. And 2/3 of our teen pregnancies are among Pacific Islanders and Native Hawaiians. And we know that tattooing has huge significance and is very common in Pacific Island cultures. So we thought it was important to make that point, because the tattoos aren't always done in a licensed shop. And people do need to think about safety.
That's good. That's good. So we will get to the hideaway here pretty soon. How long is it?
It's about 15 minutes long.
And how long did it take to shoot?
Well, from the time we first conceived it and started getting approvals and money together, I'd say it's taken us about a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We did we were fortunate that the curriculum developer provided us with an electronic copy of the script.
Right.
Thank you, Select Media, at no charge, by the way.
Oh, wow, nice.
And allowed us to make adaptations, which allowed us to stay really true to the theme of the original video, but to put elements in that were true to Hawaii.
Okay.
For example, we created the role of Uncle, who is a supportive adult who talks to Kalani about his risks of HIV and encourages him to get himself tested and to be safer.
Right.
And we wanted to portray an adult who could talk about sex with young people, because one of the strongest protective factors against unplanned pregnancies and STIs is when teenagers have a trusted adult that they can ask questions of. Even if they get sex education in school, schools can provide facts, they can teach skills, but it's up to families to talk about what's right or wrong.
Exactly.
And so we really encourage parents, and we provide training to parents on how to talk with young people about sexual health.
Okay. So about how many you work with adults too on a daily basis when you're doing with these things?
In our teen pregnancy and STI prevention program, we have 10 partner agencies across the state. Okay. We're also working with the public school system out in the Northern Mariana Islands. And in those, so we work in a variety of settings, in public and private schools, in community-based programs, in residential care, with youth and foster care, to provide them with the information and skills they need so that they can grow up sexually safe and healthy, so they can make safe and responsible decisions.
That's a good thing you guys are doing. So this I'm with Judith Clark here on the platform. And we have the hideaway video that we are going to show here in a little bit.
It's the hard way.
The hard way. The hard way. I'm sorry. The hard way video we're going to show. It's about HIV prevention. Before we go on break here, I think I started the show on the first intro. We kind of give you a little piece of it, and I said we'll come back to it. So it's taken this long to get Judith on here, who is a very busy person, doing a good job, good work of reaching out to young people and working with all these coalitions. And I like the fact that you're working with a lot of different organizations to get your works out, to get your word out and everything like that. You mentioned HSTV, that's one of the people that you work with. What is one of your main partners that you also partner up with?
Well, since we're talking about our work in teen pregnancy, we have 10 partner agencies across the state that young people can go to for information and education. And that includes on Oahu, Halekipa, Parents and Children Together, Kokua Kalihi Valley, and Planned Parenthood of Hawaii. On Maui, our partners include Hui Malama Learning Center and Maui Youth and Family Service. On the island of Kauai, Haleopio Kauai and Child and Family Service. And finally on the Big Island, on the Hilo side, Salvation Army Family Intervention Services, and in Kona, Family Support Hawaii.
That's good, Jeff. One of my biggest things was there's all these people doing great jobs, but they have all their silos and doing one thing. But it's good to come together and work on something as amazing as this video we're going to show you guys. Can we take a break and then we come back? I'm here with, this is the platform on Think Tech Hawaii. I'm here with Judith Clark. My name is Kingsley Zelee. We'll come back and then we'll play the video, The Hard Way, when we come back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rafi. Every week, I'm right here at Think Tech Hawaii, 3 p.m. on Mondays. My show is Boards' Bio Briefings. What do we do here? Well, we watch sperm swim. We see if they catch anybody. We check out the latest biosimilars. The kind that, what was his name, the guy with the bicycle? I guess we forgot his name, but he was taking EPO and other human growth factors. We'll be talking about human growth factors. You want to know where to get some? Maybe I'll tell. Anyway, you can catch me, as I said, every week right here, Monday, 3 p.m., Think Tech Hawaii, Dr. Rafi. You can also find me on Twitter, Bioinfo Medical. Or you can catch me on Facebook, Dr. Rafael Boritzer. I'll be happy to converse with you. Aloha.
We're back and we're live. This is the platform on Think Tech Hawaii. I'm with my host, my guest. I am the host, Kingsley Zelee. I'm with my guest, Judith Clark. And we're on Think Tech live streaming network series, and we're talking about the hard way. We are going to, like I said, I showed you guys a little clip before. And now we're going to broadcast the whole video, entire video here, first time live on Think Tech Hawaii. Here's the hard way.
Now today I want to talk about our health. The Cutmaster wants to talk about this unprotected sex thing. I mean, we got to get healthy. We got to protect ourselves and each other. So I want you to get up, get out, and get yourself tested. It's simple, it's free, and it's important. Get your status today. It is HIV testing all day with the Cutmaster in the...
Hey, Leilani, baby. Just lying here thinking about you. So, are we gonna meet at our usual spot today? Oh.
Hello, welcome back to Think Tech Hawaii, the platform. That was just a little clip of The Hard Way. We'll show you all the movie here in a little bit. Judith was actually telling me that the scenes that you're seeing in there, some of those scenes are actual, the kids' actual room.
Right. One of the production crew graciously allowed us to use their house for one of the scenes, the opening scene in the bedroom that you saw. And we walked in there, and the owner of the bedroom had cleaned it to death. And we immediately said, this is not a teenage boy's bedroom, and proceeded to trash it. So I watched the crew throwing clothes at the bedposts and dumping books out of the bookcase onto the floor. And they added a lot of really good business that I think makes it more authentic as well. You'll see in a few minutes, there's a moment where Kalani is brushing his teeth with his finger, and that was suggested to us by one of the actors, saying, well, he's in a hurry, he wouldn't take time to use the toothbrush.
He would just hurry up and get it done and over with using his finger. Oh, that's good. Okay, so we have the rest of the movie here, The Hard Way. Again, this is from the Hawaii Youth Services Network. HIV prevention, the hard way with local actors, and it's all local. So again, back to The Hard Way.
it's going to be a beautiful day. Now, today I want to talk about our health. The Cut Master wants to talk about this unprotected sex thing. I mean, we got to get healthy. We got to protect ourselves and each other. So I want you to get up, get out, and get yourself tested. It's simple, it's free, and it's important. Get your status today. It is HIV testing all day with the Cut Master in the...
Hey, Lilani, baby. Just lying here thinking about you. So, are we gonna meet at our usual spot today?
That looks...
All right, welcome back to the platform. It seems that we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. The movie is not playing all the way through. I promise you, though, like I said the last time, I will show this on the broadcast if we have to play the. Judith actually had 2 different movies here to play, so on our next broadcasting, we will just dedicate that broadcasting to just those movies. It's a great movie. It's a great way to talk about prevention and showing local kids here and local actors, and it's a good way to get the word out there. So I will dedicate a whole show, upcoming show, to just showing those movies, which I think is very important. So now we're gonna just talk to Judith here, and talk about the work that she does, and the programs that she work with, and the things that she do. I'll try to get you here on the show. During my first show, I wanted you to be my first person on the show here, because you guys had all these networks that you work with, so I thought it would be a great place to start. But you had to you had some things to do, and before that you went to NPR. I was guessing it was to promote was it to promote the program as well?
The National Hawaii Public Radio show was about teen pregnancy and sexual health education in Hawaii. Hawaii actually ranks 12th in the rate of teen pregnancy among all the states. We are, it is a real cause for concern. And at the same time, we have fewer young people than average who are sexually active. So why, if we have fewer young people having sex, do we have such a high teen pregnancy rate? And one of the answers for that is that we have the lowest rate of condom use among sexually active students in the United States. There are, I think, several reasons for our low rate. One of them is that our young people have inconsistent access to sexual health education. It is not required in public schools in Hawaii. And so what young people experience varies greatly from school to school. In some, they get a full evidence-based curriculum that's been adapted to be culturally relevant for our young people. In some, the health teacher provides a lesson or two among many other topics. And we have some intermediate and middle schools that do not even offer the health education elective to 7th graders. So there are some that are getting nothing in school. At the same time, there are many parents who are not comfortable and prepared to talk to their children about sexual health.
It's a touchy.
A colleague of mine who was working on her doctoral dissertation surveyed parents of teenagers, and she found that 99% of them felt it was very important for parents to talk to their children about sex. But only half of them had actually done it with their own teenagers.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's probably because the parents didn't get much in the way of sex education themselves as children, so they didn't have good role models of how to do it. One of the things that our partners do before they conduct a curriculum in a school is to hold a parent night meeting where parents have an opportunity to come and find out exactly what their children are going to learn in school. Have a chance to get all of their questions answered, and very importantly, it gives us a chance to talk with parents about why it's important for them to talk to their children and to share their values with them. And we provide guidelines about what's appropriate to talk about at different ages. how do you respond to things that happen in the media that your children ask you questions about? Or even, how do you answer those awkward questions about what you did when you were a teenager?
Kid, right? So, okay, so you're not only educating the young people here in Hawaii, you're also, in trying to educate, that you're educating the whole community, including parents and whatnot. Okay.
It really does take a village to raise a child.
It does, it does.
And sometimes the adult that young people feel most comfortable talking to is auntie or uncle, not necessarily the parent. And I think it's important for all adults to be prepared to answer children's questions. You know, just as we teach our children how to cross the street safely, because we know that someday they are going to face the risks of traffic, we need to prepare our youth to respond appropriately to the sexual risks that they are going to experience.
Okay.
In our programs at the end of instruction, typically what we hear from the students is things like, now I understand it's okay to say no if I'm not ready to have sex.
Of course, yeah. That's okay. That's so. What kind of question do you do these students usually ask you, or if you want to touch on some of these questions?
Okay.
What kind of question have you experienced that most of these students be asked?
Well, some of them have basic questions about anatomy and puberty because nobody has talked to them about what it means when you start getting your period, or about, for boys, when their penis starts coming erect in the middle of the night. So we get questions like, how did the egg and sperm meet? Or can you get pregnant from kissing? Or how do I know if my penis is the right size? And, you know, as their bodies grow and change, naturally they have questions about those changes. And it's up to us as parents, as teachers, as caring adults to make sure that they have answers for those questions. Because if they aren't getting it from us, they're going to get it from less reliable sources, such as their peers or sites on the internet that may not be medically accurate. One of the strongest protective factors we've got against unplanned pregnancies is when young people have a trusted adult that they can ask questions of.
And of the two sexes, mom or dad, or auntie and uncle, who do you find gets the most questions from the kids?
Well, I don't really know the answer to that one. I do know that my colleague who surveyed parents of teenagers found that mothers and fathers talked to their children about the same amount. And that mothers gave consistent messages to both their boy children and their girl children. However, with fathers, it was somewhat different. With fathers, the message to the boys was often about safer sex. And to their daughters, it was, don't do it. I think maybe we need to be a little more consistent in our messaging because it's hard to have one without the other.
Oh, wow. Okay. So on the flip side, who do you find, based on your opinion, of course, boys or girls, who ask the most questions? Who has the most questions that?
I think young people of both sexes have a lot of questions. How comfortable they feel about asking them depends a lot on what kinds of responses they've gotten from the adults in their lives in the past. When they hear, that's a really good question, and I'm not sure of the answer, let's find out together, that's a good thing. If it's, who told you about that? You're going to turn them off from asking really important questions in the future. I think it's okay not to know the answers to everything and to admit it. I think it's okay to say we have to find out more about that, or let's find somebody who knows. But I think that you want your children to come to you with your questions, not to go to a stranger, not to go to their friends who are just as ignorant as they are.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I'm here with Judith Clark from the Hawaii Services, Youth Services Network. She works with a lot of different organizations. here on the platform. We had a movie to show for you, but we will get to that on a different show. Right now, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with Judith Clark talking about the hard way. And basically, we're talking about sexual HIV and HIV prevention, and getting kids educated about their sexuality. So we'll be right back.
I'm Hong Jiang, host for Asia in Review on Tuesdays.
And I'm David Day, host for Asian Review on Thursdays. Both of us broadcast our respective shows at 4 p.m.
And my topics tend to deal with questions related to environment, culture, history, and sometimes human rights.
And my shows tend to be on international business, foreign policy, geopolitics, and national security. And you can watch our shows live on the ThinkTech website at thinktechhawaii.com.
And you can also watch us on YouTube or Olalo.
So come join us on Thursdays at 4 p.m. I'm David Day.
And on Tuesdays at 4 p.m., I'm Hong Jiang.
Aloha.
All right, welcome back to the platform on ThinkTech Hawaii, our live streaming series. We stream here from 1 to 5 every weekday, and you can find all our clips on YouTube, on Vimeo, and we also air on Olelo. So check us out on that. I'm here with my guest Judith Clark from the Hawaii Youth Services Network, and we're talking about HIV prevention. We had a video that we wanted to show, but we couldn't show it, and we'll get back to that on a later show. So Judith, she does a lot of different things, so we're gonna try to see a couple of things that, a couple of projects that you work with. What's a project that you're working with besides, talking about sexuality and HIV prevention?
Well, one of my favorite things that we do each year is to co-sponsor the annual Children and Youth Summit at the state capitol. This is a program that is sponsored by the Keiki Caucus of the legislature, and I think of it as a needs assessment process. We invite young people and youth advocates to the Capitol for a day to talk to each other and determine what are the most important things that the legislature can do to make Hawaii a better place to live and work. And we get some very serious young people who come to advocate for issues that they're passionate about. This year, for example, the top priority that came out of the summit was marriage equality. Okay. And as you know, our legislature went into special session in the fall and passed a same-sex marriage act. Oh, really? Another top priority that young people have come up with is the idea of a Safe Places for Youth network. This has been among the top priorities in the last 2 years. And young people said, an awful lot of our juvenile arrests are for things like running away or being truant from school. Right. And young people get into trouble and they wind up with permanent criminal records, or they get pregnant, or they drop out of school. And we think there needs to be a network of safe places that they can go to before they get in that kind of trouble. So Senator Suzanne Chun Oakland convened a work group that has been meeting for the past 2 years to look at, well, what would a Safe Places for Youth network look like? And we're using a national model called Safe Place, in which you recruit sites in the community, such as fire stations and libraries and maybe 7-Eleven stores, and community businesses and supporters. The staff in those places are trained. They're given a 24-hour number that they can call, and they get a sign to put in the window so young people can identify it as a safe place. I like that. Then let's say that someone leaves home in the middle of the night because mom and dad are having a big fight and it's getting physical, and the young person shows up at the fire station and says, I'm afraid to go home because my parents are beating each other up, and I'm afraid if I go home they'll beat on me too. And the staff there call the 24-hour number. There's a trained worker who triages the situation, determines, is it safe for that person to go home tonight? If not, they have access to an emergency youth shelter where the young person can stay. The parents are notified and asked for consent. And as a follow-up, either if the youth returns home that night or if he does stay in the shelter, there's follow-up and linkage to longer-term resources to help the young person and the family solve the problems that led to that young person leaving home in the middle of the night.
Wow.
There is a bill currently under consideration at our state legislature. We are hoping that it will be funded so that we can start a pilot project soon. Some of the other things that young people have come up with at these summits that have made a difference, that have resulted in actual legislation that is changing lives. For several years, we had young people who were saying, we have a higher education program for young people who are aging out of foster care, but it's not good enough to meet the needs of the youth.
Right.
In the original program, you had to enroll in college by your 19th birthday. Well, many young people in foster care have not graduated from high school by that time. So for several years at the summit, young people advocated for expanding the program and giving these youth more time to enroll in college and more time to graduate. And in the 3 years that expanded program has been a reality, the number of former foster youth enrolled in college in Hawaii has doubled. A few years ago, we had some young people who were passionate about environmental concerns. They said, we need to plant more trees in Hawaii, especially endangered native Hawaiian trees. And they had a lot of good reasons for it. Trees provide shade, so that you don't need to use as much energy for air conditioning. Right. They add oxygen to the atmosphere. They're pretty to look at. They help prevent skin cancer by providing shade.
Shade and everything.
And you can't pass a law requiring people to plant trees. But the legislature passed a resolution called 1,000,000 Trees of Aloha, inviting and encouraging people to plant trees. And Kanu Hawaii created a place on their website where you could go and report how many trees you planted and when and where. And over 500,000 trees have been planted since then.
Wow, that's great. That's great. That's great work. You sound like you have a very safe, I know you were mentioning, you say you have safe places like participant businesses, talking about
we hope to.
Right? And then you have the fireplaces and whatnot. And you seem to be a program of overall an umbrella of safeness. You're talking about these kids going to the legislation, coming up, talking to the senators and stuff like that about youth issues. What are the, is there I want to say like a platform or a way, how do these young kids, do they just come out to you, come to your office and say, this is what we feel about? How do you guys go about that?
Well, for the Children and Youth Summit, for example, we send invitations out to the public schools. Okay. We work through the Hawaii Association of Private Schools to let the private schools know about the program. We send it out through our monthly electronic newsletter that reaches about 1,500 youth workers. All the people on the planning committee distribute the information out to the young people and youth workers that they have contact with. Other organizations that are involved in the planning for this, for example, have included the Aloha United Way, the Girl Scouts, the University of Hawaii Center on the Family, the Hawaii Department of Education, the facilitators and recorders for the small group sessions at the summit each year are high school students who have been trained in group facilitation skills. And they do a wonderful job of working with their peers to enable everybody to brainstorm about what the key issues are and then discuss them and come to agreement on what the top priorities need to be.
That's wonderful. And do you have, do you also work with young adults, like the people in colleges and stuff like that? Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of evidence that the adolescent brain doesn't finish developing until you're about 24.
Okay.
And so I think young adults, as they transition into more independent living, need a variety of supports to be available to them.
Okay. All right, this is Think Tech Hawaii, the platform. Here with my guest, Judith Clark from the Hawaii Student from the Hawaii Youth Services Network. I think they serve about over 50 different organizations here in Hawaii, and trying to keep it local, trying to get more kids to see prevention and streamline services to young people here in Hawaii, to stay connected and to be well informed as they transition, be it middle school, high school, or going into college, especially in the community here in Hawaii here. So she's telling me about great things that they're doing here, and I want to, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear more story from Judith Clark from the Hawaii Youth Services Network. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for Think Tech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Hello, welcome back to the platform on Think Tech Hawaii. I'm here with my guest Judith Clark from the Hawaii Youth Services Network. You can attest to her her great work that she's doing. She does a lot. She travels a lot, and she works with a lot of different people in the Pacific here. She actually helping me out with the show right now. You can't really tell. We're having technical difficulties, so she's playing along really well. That's a testament to what she does with a lot of young people. So in a typical year, I don't, maybe a month if you want to say, how many kids do you work with?
Well, we don't work directly usually with the young people. Our job is to work with the youth workers and help them do better programs. So we do a lot of professional training for youth workers. We help them build partnerships and collaborations, and we do needs assessment and planning and public policy development to ensure that young people and their families have what they need to grow and thrive. Okay. You know, our goal is for every child to grow up safe, healthy, and ready to succeed. And I think that's a goal we all share.
That's a really good goal right there. It takes a whole village, like she said earlier. And you guys are doing a great job here in Hawaii. How long have you guys been an organization here in Hawaii?
We were formed in 1980. Okay. And the initial work that we did was predominantly around the issues of runaway and homeless youth. And we're still maintaining a statewide runaway and homeless youth collaborative that provides street-based outreach, emergency shelter, and transitional living services for older teens who need to learn the skills for adult living but can't safely return home.
Okay, with all these programs that you're working with, all these organizations you're working with, which one do you find more pertinent to young people's lives today? Like you're working on HIV prevention right now, getting out the word about being safe for sex and having healthy living and education and everything like that. Which one do you find comes out more permanent?
I really would hesitate to say one issue is the most important.
Okay.
What we hear pretty consistently from young people is they have a variety of concerns. They want Hawaii to preserve a healthy and safe environment. They want a sustainable economy.
Right.
They want people to be healthy and have access to health care. They want safe schools where young people can get a good education. They care a lot about things like preventing tobacco use, preventing bullying and violence.
Right.
We have a relatively high rate of young people who think about or make plans for suicide. So that's an area where youth agencies, both government and private, have been working together to educate people and give them the skills and the resources to prevent those unhappy outcomes. Okay. There is a program called Safe Talk, which provides bystander training It's for anybody who might encounter somebody who's considering suicide, so they know, what to do and say and how to get that person to help. And Safe Talk training is available to young people ages 15 and over, and to any adult. And they are available free right now through the University of Hawaii's Department of Psychiatry and the Department of Health's Injury Prevention Program.
And if you can't get to those, is there any, because everybody's into technology nowadays, do you have anything online or?
There are certainly websites where you can get information about suicide prevention and how to help. One of those sites would be the Department of Health. Go to the Injury Prevention branch and you will find information about suicide prevention, as well as other kinds of injuries like fall prevention and motor vehicle accidents and all the other things that we would like to avoid.
Okay. And what other trainings do you provide to, because you work with a lot of different organizations, is there any particular training that comes to head that maybe you guys provide?
Well, we do, we regularly assess the needs of the agencies and the youth workers we work with, and those needs change. One of the things we have upcoming is a bullying and violence prevention workshop that is going to be offered on Kauai on May 14th. And if you are interested in signing up for that workshop, you can give us a call at 531-2198 and talk to Regina Torres. We are also planning a curriculum training for teachers on a sexual health education curriculum that's coming up in June. And for teachers who agree to implement the curriculum, we will provide them with a copy of the curriculum itself.
Oh, wow.
Some other things we are working on May 1st, we are offering our quarterly membership and networking meeting, which is going to focus on involving youth in culture and arts. And we're going to have a panel of speakers that include Bishop Museum, the Honolulu Museum of Art, Hawaii Student Television, and Olelo.
We should be there.
To talk about a variety of ways that young people can get involved in all kinds of different culture and arts programs, either as volunteers or as artists.
That's cool. I'm actually doing a show. I had three other people to show us some young people. They're into b-boys. They do the dancing, and there's artists coming here in the guitars and stuff like that. So I would love to come to that event. When is it again?
It's on May 1st from 10 to 1 at Ward Warehouse. To RSVP, talk to Maricel at 531-2198 extension 6.
All right.
531-2198 extension 6.
Okay, and you guys have a website too?
We do, www.hysn.org.
And you can find all the information, everything that we talk about here, you can find it on the website, all the great work that you're doing. You guys do a monthly newsletter that comes out.
If you'd like to receive it, again, call or email to info@hysn.org.
Okay. Again, this is Kingsley Zelee, your host of the platform. We're on Think Tech Hawaii, streaming live Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 p.m. So check us out on there. We had a video that we were going to show to you today called The Hard Way. There's a second video too. You cannot get HIV. What is it?
Lada.
You cannot get HIV Lada. So we will get those technical difficulty working out. You'll get a whole platform show of just short films that you can enjoy later on and see local actors. You'll probably recognize some of these students, right? They're still in school.
Yes, they are local students or young adults.
So they're not like in a particular acting
they're
school.
not professional actors,
Okay.
though some of them have appeared in some local commercials or community theater productions before. But for our lead actor in The Hard Way, this was his first acting role.
Really? He did a great job. I actually saw it. This the guy when the clip started, the kid that was waking up brushing his teeth with his hand. We just saw that part of the clip, but yeah, it's great to have local people, you know, talking about issues as pertinent here, and they're seeing people that are just like them in there. So I thank you for the work that you're doing, and I thank you for being on the show.
I would like to acknowledge our funders for the production of The Hard Way. The Federal Office of Adolescent Health generously provided funding to make it, and worked with us to do a very extensive medical accuracy review so that we can assure you that everything in that video is medically accurate.
Right. Up-to-date information.
I'd also like to thank Cutmaster Spaz, who donated his time for the production as well.
Yeah, he's in a lot of the videos, and I heard that what is it? You cannot get HIV like that. He liked the first one so much that he came in.
He appeared in our first video as the narrator. Thought it was so worthwhile as a community service that he said, if you ever do another one, I want to be part of it.
That is great. That is great.
And so on The Hard Way, he plays himself as Cutmaster Spaz, promoting HIV prevention awareness and encouraging everybody to get themselves tested or to stay safe through abstinence or by using safe sex practices.
That is great. That is great. And like I said, it's all local. It's all people that you will recognize. So props to those students. Hopefully, maybe the platform, you know, as we grow with you guys, you know, as I get better at this, we will try to get some of those students here to talk about their role in these films and what they hope to gain as they move forward into their adult lives. Again, this is the platform on Think Tech Hawaii. I'm with my guest, Judith Clark. We'll be right back.